What to do when you've been triggered. If someone says something to you, you just had an experience or just got some news that has triggered you, the first thing for you to do is to pull back. Pull away from the circumstance. Pull away from the experience. Now, every belief system, every circumstance that we experience, we define in ways that are according to what we are believing or thinking. If you have negative beliefs about a certain thing, circumstances, words, or certain people, or believing that certain people, things, and circumstances have power over you, you will be easily triggered. Something happens. Now you're triggered. Pull back from the experience. When you pull back from the experience, the first thing you need to do is identify the feeling. Don't try to run from it. Running from it is only going to make it worse over time. The feeling wants to be identified and it wants to be cleared up so you can move forward in your life as a whole being. Running from it is only going to waste your time and create more work for you to do in the future because it's never going to go away. You pull back from it, and once you're feeling safe, once you're feeling calmer, once you're feeling better, then you can say to yourself, what is this feeling? What am I feeling? If you can identify it, usually it's one of the low vibrational triggers. It's usually fear, guilt, shame, lack, or unworthiness. It always falls under these 5 categories. Once you identify the feeling, for example, if it is guilt, and you realize that whatever the person has just done has made you feel guilty, you need to congratulate yourself for identifying that feeling. A lot of people cannot even identify how they're feeling. Their mind just takes over and they start reacting to whatever it is that's caused them to feel that feeling. They are reacting automatically. They've created automatic responses to that situation. You have been able to pull back and identify the feeling, so you deserve to be congratulated. You need to congratulate yourself. You're making a lot of progress on your self-transformation. Once you identify the feeling, such as guilt, now, once you've been watching my videos, you've been staying on top of these tools, on top of these techniques, and understanding that every belief has a system. Every belief pattern has a system of thoughts that want to sustain it. If you've been thinking thoughts that have made you feel negative for a very long time, you've eventually developed a point of attraction for that negativity. If you've been thinking thoughts that have made you feel guilty, you've developed a point of attraction for guilt. So a lot of circumstances and situations and people in the external world will easily trigger the feeling of guilt in you, because the feeling of guilt is an automatic emotion and response in your system. You've identified this feeling, you've pulled away, now you're celebrating that you've identified it. It's important for you to celebrate that you've identified it, because once you start celebrating, then you're already putting some positive energy on the negative feeling. Therefore, taking back your power, you're taking the negative effect it has on you. Now you understand that a bunch of beliefs are going to come up that will try to get you to react in your old way, that will try to get you to give this feeling of guilt power. A lot of people might start telling you that you should feel guilty. You start seeing evidence supporting your guilt. It'll feel like you're getting pulled back into that emotional state of guilt. But once you have this knowledge, especially from watching my vlogs, you're going to understand that these belief systems are just coming up because your body is in shock. Your body is resisting the change. You've always responded and defined things in that way, and now you're changing the way you're looking at it, and you're not reacting or responding the way you normally do. So your body and your mind is trying to get you back to your old patterns so it can feel safe again. Once you choose not to respond and you keep resisting all those beliefs that start coming up, and you take your time and you focus on things that make you feel good until this feeling of guilt or this negative feeling starts to subside. Once this negative feeling starts to subside, then you can, from a clear, happy place, you can then tell yourself, what do I want after this experience? Then you can say, I want to feel more empowered. I want to feel free. I want to feel happy. I want to be witty and sharp with my responses. I want to be free of other people's opinions and perceptions and feelings about me. I want to be confident and secure in myself. I want to feel empowered. Once you start saying this, you've given your mind something to focus towards. You've given your mind a goal. So your mind is going to start putting you in circumstances and situations that will cause you to start practicing this new emotional state. This new emotional state that you've claimed that you want. Now you're going to find yourself intuitively and instinctively visualizing the same experience, but visualizing it from a version of you that feels empowered, that is smart, sharp, witty, a version of you that is not bothered by whatever it is that caused that negative feeling or that feeling of guilt, a version of you that feels secure. You start visualizing that same experience from that new emotional state until you're no longer triggered by that thing that caused the feeling in the first place. Now you start to feel empowered, smart, witty, sharp, free of negativity and free of your previous trigger. Once you've been visualizing for a while, you've been visualizing your empowered response and your empowered version in this same circumstance, you'll find that something similar might happen again in your reality. Something similar or the exact same thing might repeat itself. But now you have a different version of you. You have a version of you that is more empowered, a version of you that you've created by pulling away, identifying the feeling, celebrating that you've identified it so it can now become more positive, and then choosing how you want to feel next in a circumstance like that, and then visualizing it to create it so that the emotional state can start to become a part of your emotional state. Now the circumstance is in front of you again, or something similar, and now you respond as that new version of you. You respond as that empowered version of you, or you no longer even feel a desire to respond because you're no longer triggered by that thing. You're free of your trigger. You're free of your trigger. That's the state you want to be in, free of your trigger. I love you. I am Goddess Green.